Hello everyone. Now we are starting with our new topic, that how do firm manage financial risk. Now see, we have financial risk, but now our task is to manage. Okay, but the question arises that how you are going to manage your risk. Now what are the steps you are going to take so that you can manage your risk? What are the process you are going to consider so that the risk of the organization as a whole can be reduced? Okay, earlier I have told you four important points, like either you can retain the risk, if you remember that you want to retain the risk, or you want to avoid the risk, or you want to mitigate the risk. Apart from that, you want to transfer the risk. Okay, these are the 4 points I have previously taught you, that these we can do if there is a risk in front of us. Now, in order to mitigate the risk, what we can do, in order to transfer the risk, what we can do, and in order to avoid the risk, what we can do. Okay, so there are lots of tools available, lots of process needs to be designed, and we need to have a particular framework according to which we have to work. Means if you have designed a particular framework, that this is the way you can manage your financial risk. Now once your framework is created, you need to inform about the policies and procedures which you have created. With the help of this framework, you will inform about this to all the employees of the organization, that see, these are the possible procedures and the policies that you have to follow, and if you are going to follow these kinds of procedures, this process, it is most appropriate for our organization, and this will keep the risk under a certain level for the organization as a whole. So our chapter is going to start with these four topics, that is to retain, avoid, mitigate and transfer. Now after this we will enter into the risk mapping. Okay, means you have to map the risk. Means suppose I am talking about a business perspective. Now it can have a different business lines. If I'll say about the banking, they have different business lines. They have investment banking. Okay, apart from that they have retail banking, they have corporate banking, as well as they have insurance business included in their organization as a whole. Now in each of the business line, they have their particular risk and return. So now what we can do, we can map the risk of the whole organization in the single system, and this system will tell me that okay, the war of the business is now say rupees 7500. Clear? So from this I am able to understand what is the risk for the business as a whole, rather than taking the individual business line. Clear? Because there might be some possibility that there are some relationship between the risk of say these two departments. Okay, I have previously told you that they have the risk from rupee decreasing, and they have the risk from rupee increasing. So if you look from the organization perspective, there is no risk at all. Clear? So first of all you need to identify the risk, and then after identification of the risk you need to measure the risk, then you have to manage the risk. Clear? And the managing part will keep on going and going. It involves the regular and the periodic reviews and the checking whether the employees of the organization are following the stated rules and regulation or not. Apart from that, if I have stated that my war limit, suppose my war limit is say $8,000, so I have to see whether my employees are not breaching this war limit or they are breaching the war limit, and what is the frequency they are breaching this war limit. Means if I will say in 1 month they have breached this war limit by say 3 times. Okay, so this is really a big number, and we have to take corrective actions. So risk management is something which is proactive. Means you have to make sure that you are working on a regular basis towards the management of the risk. Why? The reason is that the market keeps on changing, the market keeps on changing, the risk keeps on changing. So if you try to be very static, okay, this will really impact the survival of the organization. Now there is one more way that we can mitigate our risk or manage our risk is by hedging. Okay, if you remember, the word hedging means do a transaction from which you are afraid of. Suppose I am just giving you an example. Suppose you are afraid from gold price rising. You are afraid that what if gold price will rise? Why? Because gold is your input. Okay, and if the price of the input will rise, the cost of your production will increase. So you are afraid of this gold price rising. So what you can do, you can buy future contract of gold. So if the prices of gold will rise, you don't have to suffer any kind of loss. Clear? So you can have the hedging from foreign currency risk as well. So now lots of things we are going to study in this topic. So I have just given you an overview that what we are going to do. Clear? Now we are talking about the strategies to manage its risk. Okay, so you can give the heading that the strategies to manage its risk. Okay, now what are the 4 different strategies to manage the risk is: number 1, accept the risk. Under it write down accept the risk. Next write down avoid the risk. Next mitigate the risk, and the last is our transfer the risk. Clear? These are the 4 different strategies. Now if I am talking about, say this is a firm ABC. Now this firm will choose whether they want to avoid the risk, or they want to mitigate, or they want to transfer, or they want to accept the risk. Now it's completely, the decision will be taken up by the senior management and the board of directors. Okay, they are completely responsible for the strategy selection. So you will ask, what is the use of the risk manager? Risk manager will help them and will inform them that what should be the best suitable option for this company, what should be the best and suitable for this company. Why? Because risk manager will do all the necessary calculation and he will find out, okay, yes, if I will transfer the risk, that will be the best option for my organization, and he will convey this information to the senior management and the board of directors, and then they will tell that okay, go with the decisions. Clear? Now suppose now I am a board of director and you are a risk manager, or let's take it opposite way, I am your risk manager and you are my board of directors. Now I suggested you that sir, please accept the risk. Okay, I suggested you please accept the risk. Now my board of director will ask me that okay Deepak, tell me what are the reasons that you are saying to accept the risk. So first reason which came to my mind after calculation is that if the gold prices will increase, okay, and gold is my input, if the gold prices will increase, then whatever the increase in price, I can pass on this to my customer. Means suppose I am just giving you an example. Earlier the gold was 40,000. Earlier the gold was 40,000 and the jewelry which we are giving is say 42,000. Means we are adding additional 2,000 our income. But now gold is trading at 50,000. So I will make the price of 52,000. Means whatever the increase in the price, I can pass on to my customers. Okay, then firm will see, okay, it's good to take the risk. In case if it work, our customer have to pay, we don't have to pay the extra cost. Next, I told my board of directors, sir, we are desiring to accept this risk because it can offer me a good amount of reward. It can offer me good amount of reward. Clear? Means suppose I have the gold mines and I am afraid of price falling. I am afraid of price falling. But if I will take the hedging position, suppose I am take the hedging position at say 40 42,000. The contract amount is 42,000, and if the price will decrease to 35,000, I'll be very happy because I don't have to suffer any amount of loss. This is my contract amount and this will stay. But what if the price will increase? Then I am not going to get the benefit of it. So I told my organization to accept the risk rather than doing any hedging and all. Why? Because there might be some rewards that which we can get by taking this risk. And the next reason I told to my board of directors is that the risk is, sir, very small. Okay, and such a small risk is not at all going to impact my organization. Okay, so we can take this risk. Clear? So board of director asked me, okay, even if the risk is small, why don't you want to manage? Because risk, whether it's small or big, risk is always a risk. Then I replied to my boss, sir, see, there is a risk of say 7,000 rupees, but if I am going to manage the risk, I have to bear the cost. I have to set up one employee who is going to manage the risk, and lots of process that we have to do in managing the risk. And if we will do the risk management, we have to incur the cost of 8,000. Means in order to manage the risk, we have to bear some additional cost. So let the risk be happen, let the risk be open, because even if we are going to manage the risk, we have to suffer amount which is greater than the amount of risk. Clear? Okay, suppose rather than saying to accept the risk, I will tell my board of director to avoid the risk. Now board of director will ask me, because if I am avoiding a risk means there is a decrease in return as well, but I am forcing my board of director to avoid the risk, because the reason is that this risk, the amount of loss from this loss can be so huge that it can create a question mark on the solvency of the organization. It can create a question mark on the solvency of the organization. So it is most appropriate decision to avoid this particular risk. Now if I would like to give you a small example, suppose this is a bank and they have 2-3 different services, say investment banking, retail and corporate banking, and insurance. Clear? Now being a risk manager, I found out that this insurance section is creating a huge loss for the bank as a whole. Means if I'll talk about SDFC Bank, this insurance part that is SDFC Ergo is creating a huge amount of loss to the whole SDFC organization. So now what I will propose in front of the board of director is that, sir, we have to immediately stop the business of our insurance. Otherwise, if because risk can come na, I am not sure that it will create, but yes, if risk will arise from this insurance company, then it will create a question mark on the solvency of the SDFC organization as a whole. Then board of director will take such a decision that okay, now we will stop this insurance business. Now next is to mitigate the risk. Okay, now there is two kind of risk. I have told you before that there is a known risk and there is a unknown risk. So obviously you can mitigate only those risks which are known to you. The risk which is unknown to you, you cannot mitigate that. So now I proposed my board of directors, sir, we have to mitigate our risk. Now my board of director will ask me that why and how. Now there are two things: why you want to mitigate the risk and how you will mitigate the risk. See, why, the answer is that, sir, risk can be really big and it can really impact the business of our organization. That's why I want to mitigate the risk, means I want to reduce the risk. Now how can I do? The question mark, my board of director will ask me, so how can I reduce the risk? Being a banking, there are many ways to reduce the risk. Now risk arises from the credit risk. Okay, so what can I do? When I am giving the loan, I will charge higher interest rate. Okay, I will charge higher interest rate. Next, I will give loan only to those, say, whose income is more than 50 lakhs per annum, whose income is more than 50 lakhs per annum. Before giving the loan, I will take the collateral from them. Now what is this collateral? Means, suppose this is a HDFC bank giving a loan to Mr. Ram for, say, 1 lakh rupees. Now bank will ask Ram to deposit something. Okay, it can be gold, it can be shares. Okay, they have to keep something as a collateral, and on that basis bank will give the loan of 1 lakh. Now bank will say you have to keep the collateral of 1,20,000, then only we will give you the loan of 1 lakh. Clear? So now you are getting the point behind this. And the last part is to transfer the risk. I told my board of director, sir, we don't want to keep the risk in our organization. I want to transfer the risk to a third party. Okay, so now again, how can I transfer the risk? This is the one of the most important question. But my board of director will say, okay, if you are transferring a risk, is there any other kind of risk that will come to our organization? I say, yes sir, if I am going to transfer a risk, there is another risk which is arising to me, is a counter party risk. Now my board of director asked me, okay, Deepak, please explain us, because we are not from the finance background, please explain us the whole process of transfer the risk, and what is this counterparty risk, and what can we do for our counterparty risk. Clear? Now suppose this is the HDFC bank and we have given a loan to Mr. Ram. Now the amount of loan given to Mr. Ram is of 1 lakh rupees. Now the question is here that we are having a credit risk from Mr. Ram that he is not going to repay our 1 lakh back to us. Now what we can do? The question mark is here, what we can do. So I told my board of director, sir, better to purchase an insurance. Better to purchase an insurance. I am just using the terminology which is you can understand. So there is a organization, say ICICI Bank. Okay, I went to ICICI Bank and I said that I am afraid that Mr. Ram is going to default. ICICI said that okay, I am not feeling that he is going to default. Then I said, okay, if you are feeling so, then let's do a credit default swap. Means what? Means that I am going to pay, say, 1,000 rupees every month to ICICI Bank, and in case in between if Mr. Ram will default, then ICICI Bank will pay me 1 lakh rupees. So this is kind of a insurance premium, and ICICI is my insurance company, just like we used to pay for our car insurance. Okay, what happen in car insurance? You pay a premium, and then if anything will happen, the insurance company will pay for any kind of loss. So this is the same thing. Now what is the counterparty in that? Now ICICI Bank is my counterparty. Means what? Suppose economy went into the depression. Okay, means there is an economy recession going all over, because of which Mr. Ram defaulted. Okay, the reason is the economy recession. But when the economy is in recession, do you think that ICICI is also in a healthy position? No, they are also in the worst position, and ICICI also defaulted. So this is my counterparty. Okay, but I am afraid what will happen if my counterparty will default. So there is a risk of counterparty. Clear? So all these things I have explained to my board of director, and they will go with my decision, and whatever the situation will come, I will give a particular solution to them, whether to accept or to avoid or to mitigate or to transfer the risk. Clear? Okay, so I end this lecture here. The remaining part of the topic will cover in second lecture. Thank you.